Flutes. Everybody likes flutes. And that's why today we are checking out Amplesound's brand new Chinese Da-Di flute. Amplesound is a company that I have done a lot of VST demos for, some audio demos, and I use their products in a ton of my compositions. Specifically their acoustic guitars, electric guitars, their basses, and more recently some of their flutes from the China series that they're working on. I'm actually, in fact, working as we speak on a project, I can't talk about it, that's using all Asian instrumentation. So it's been really useful having the Amplesound stuff at my disposal. And I was really excited when they announced that they're working on this China Da-Di flute. Now, normally what I've done is done walkthroughs where I kind of walk you through the whole thing having looked at it. But I'm familiar with Amplesound and how they design their user interfaces and their programming, so I thought it'd be fun if together we kind of listened to it and gave my first impression and reaction to the sound. So without further ado, let's just jump in, and if you like this video at the end, I hope you'll leave a like and subscribe for more. So this is the flute, and as you'll see, we've got our standard layout here if you're familiar with Amplesound stuff. Let's just play it right out of the box and see how it sounds. That's pretty cool. Okay, so it ends right around the C. Goes up to the E, I think. Ooh, and this nice low G. Okay, you can control the vibrato with the mod wheel. So that pushes it up a little bit more. And it is responsive to velocity, so soft velocity, mid, and then the loudest has that kind of stab effect. So this is sounding really good. I always love their legatos too. They're very responsive instruments with really good legato. See how fast you can play that? I mean, just really, really responsive. Okay, now you see they've got some built-in reverb in here too, so we can go in and maybe turn that off so we can see what it really sounds like completely dry. Okay, and let's play with the mic positions a little bit. So we got the mids. There we go. And then the front. A little bit more of that breathiness. The back. A bit warmer sounding. And then the ambience right here. For more of that room. So we could maybe do like just the fronts and the ambience potentially. Let's try that. I mean, that really sounds like it's in the room, which is fantastic. So you could really put this in your own room using whatever reverbs you choose to use. Now let's go into the articulations and talk about those. I'm sure they're similar to the ones that I've used before. So we have our standard sustain here. We have hard tonguing. Oh, nice, with the ornamentation, I love that. Looks like it's triggered by velocity. Okay, grace up. That's good. Now, some of these you'll have to trigger before the note and some after the note. So this one is one that's triggered before the actual note. So if I play that again, I have to hold this, and then we trigger it. And the interval is dependent on what key we set here. So as we change this key, it's gonna adjust the interval. Still based, I think, on the Chinese scale, which is kind of cool. So it'll sound accurate. Next, we have the grace down, which is probably similar. Oh, I like that, the velocity triggers. That's beautiful. I could see myself using that. Very cool. Okay, next we have the pentatonic up. Oh, that's nice. Beautiful, and then pentatonic down, I'm sure. Now, of course, you could play, but it's not going to sound quite the same because it's not pre-recorded. So the pre-recorded ones have a little bit more accuracy to them. Ripple is the next one. That's beautiful. Looks like it has to be triggered before again. Beautiful. Okay. Long trembling. Okay, another little ornament. Okay, so impulse is going to be the breath. Okay. Next we have scattering, which is kind of like a big kind of fill in. And it looks like maybe it's influenced by velocity as well. No, it's affected by the range. So as we start on a higher range, we're gonna have more opportunity to kind of swell up higher. So, whereas this has less notes in the instrument's range, so. Scattering down. Very pretty. Okay, now we have howling legato. So sort of like the impulse, but kind of comes in more gently. Wolf tone. So this is where we're getting less into the ornamentation and probably gonna be using things more like effects. So we'd probably just use this like once, you know? And that would be our color. Especially with some reverb, that would be really pretty. Okay, vibrato. Just for extra push. Trills. Okay, so another scattering with a flutter here. That's cool. Marking. Again, these are all ones that are triggered before you press the note. Layering. Sliding. There you go. Okay, so you see how the slides you can actually trigger in the middle of a note, whereas the other ones were set beforehand. So we can be playing. And there we go. Also, you notice how there's a little ornamentation in there. One thing I love that Amplsound does is they program some of these little ornaments in there, which is super cool. Makes it really easy and realistic sounding. I mean, that's just so easy to play. Okay, sforzando. Great. Another similar wolf tone. And I've used this before in a lot of my music. Just kind of a slide out. Impulse release, that's cool. So, just to drop out. And then last we're gonna have the licks, which is basically just a bunch of pre-recorded licks, phrases. Beautiful. Now, I don't use those too much because they're not time locked. A lot of them are very free sounding. And so you can use them for inspiration, I think, in terms of your programming. Or maybe you take a little phrase, cut it up, and then use that. But I don't tend to use those too much. We also have howling, it looks like, again. And then lastly, if I remember right, we have this stop, which basically just... if we're having issues or something is getting stuck, you could just cancel those out, which is really nice. So this is very familiar to me. This is very similar setup to the other instruments, and I love it. I just love how it works. Some things that are pretty cool that I remember, random articulation. So if this is turned on, it's always gonna toggle a random articulation as you play. On the start of every phrase. So once you're doing legato, it's not gonna keep doing that, or that would sound ridiculous, but... so that's kind of cool if you want to just experiment a little bit. Another thing, like I was showing before, is keyboard mode, which basically it is going to allow you to play multiple notes. It's not going to play legato. But obviously you're going to lose the realism. So I tend to keep this in instrument mode. Guitars I'll use in keyboard mode. This is the legato mode, which will trigger different things. You can see there's a whole list of stuff here, which is triggered by velocity. We won't go into that too much. Then, like I said before, the expression is the thing that's controlling volume with ample sound, and mod is mod wheel. That's all I really tend to use. And that's what I like. One more thing that's cool about Ample Sound is they have a bunch of built-in plugins. So they have the reverb, which I was showing you, and I've always liked their reverbs. I think they sound really good. You can change that small hall. There's other things like EQ, there's a compressor in here, and there's delay. I don't play with it too much, but they are built into some of the presets, which makes these different presets sound different. So let's actually explore the presets. So this is the default one. Let's go to the Singing of Dragon. So slightly brighter tone, it looks like, a little crispier. Similarly, I'm sure Bright Dotty will also be the same. Ooh, very nice. I like that. Very breathy. Let's try ambience. Okay, so this is like for a pad if you wanted to do this. I don't see myself using that too much. Let's try black. Interesting color. Kind of has a muffled sound to it. And then lastly, let's just do the unsullied. Very nice, so kind of dark sounding still. I love the presets, I think they're great. And truthfully, I think Ample Sound stuff sounds so good out of the box, I tend to just use the default. I think it sounds great, it's very playable, which is what I like. I don't like too many frills on these kinds of instruments. I want it to just kind of sound good out of the box, play well, and not have to work that hard in terms of programming. Even with regards to the articulations, I think they're fantastic. I tend to use the bends the most, bends up, bends down, trills. Some of the entrances, like the impulses, I think are really cool. The scattering up and down, I think, are highly realistic sounding and authentic, but I don't tend to use them as much, sometimes because I lose track of where they are in the keys. And so my solution or recommendation is to create articulation sets specifically for the Ample Sound stuff. And I believe all the mapping is exactly the same, so you should be able to convert this over from like the Dotty to the Dongxiao. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right. Any of those flutes that they have should translate really well between each other if you use the same articulation sets. So I love this. I think it's gonna make a welcome addition to all the flutes I have from them already. So thank you again, Ample Sound, for sending me this. I really appreciate it as always. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.